What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our player ratings after Liverpool have been beaten for the first time this season, deservedly beaten by 2-1 by Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace. As always, I'm going to go through, give the referee, the players, the substitutes, and our coach a score out of 10. You'll see two images on each player card. The upper right-hand corner is the average Anfield Agenda audience score, and the large square in the centre of the image is my score. If you would like to submit your player ratings moving forward, make sure that you sign up to the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, which is where we put the link in. And I also want to remind you about our fantastic giveaway. With thanks to our friends at the Collector's Corner, we're able to give away this signed and framed Diogo Jota shirt to celebrate the great man's life. For info on how to enter, go across to the Anfield Agenda Instagram account at Anfield Agenda, where you will find all the details there on how to enter, and we'll be announcing the winner next week during or after the Chelsea game. Right, not a lot to be happy about this week, as I'm sure you'll agree, but we will go through as always and give these guys a score and start with the referee today. Look, the corner was wrong for Palace's goal, but again, I'm not going to be judgmental on the ref for that. It was one that you can understand why the wrong decision was made, but unfortunately it was the wrong decision. We should have defended the corner, so I'm not blaming the ref on that one. I think he did okay, nothing really stood out for me for or against, so I'm going to give the referee a score of 6. The audience went very low with it with a 4.5, and I guess they're probably angry about the corner. I do get it, but they're also human, like we said. It's unfortunate that VAR can't correct these issues, and I still would make the argument that we should have defended the corner anyway. So I don't have any big gripes with the referee today personally, but the audience went for a 4.5. Next up, Alisson Becker. Probably, maybe except for Chiesa, the only guy there today that we can say thank you and well done to. Alisson was quite simply sublime. Save after save in the first half. That game could have been 4 or 5-0 at half time, and we couldn't have argued about it one bit. He was magnificent, and a reminder that he is still the best goalkeeper in the world. So for the big man today, he gets a score of 9 from me, and very well deserved. The audience have gone for an 8.2 for Alisson. I thought he was brilliant today, and like I said, we would have been way out of sight in the first half if it wasn't for him. Next up, Milos Kerkez. Not good enough, but I'm also really concerned as to why we're not letting him be the Kerkez that we brought in from Bournemouth. There's nowhere near as many overlapping or underlapping attacking runs from him. He's been instructed to almost be too defensively minded, and I don't like it. Yes, they're still trying to turn us and get in behind us as teams do when they play us, but I didn't think it was a great performance today for Milos, and I fully expect Andy Robertson to start the next one at Chelsea next weekend. So for me, I'm giving Milos a score of 5, which is the same as the Anfield Agenda audience. And a reminder, I genuinely don't know the audience's scores as we go through. I learned them in real time, just like you guys. Next up, our captain, Virgil. Look, he leads a defence that is way too weak and way too easy to bully from set pieces. Arna spoke about this being a set piece league. Well, we're no good at either end. We missed chances at the other end of the pitch when we had chances for Canade's head today and a few others. But we are too vulnerable and too weak from set pieces. Virgil's the captain. He needs to lead by example and sort that out. So for him, today I'm giving him a 5.5. And the Anfield Agenda audience have gone with a score there for Virgil of 5.3. The main culprit, though, for me today in the defence to give out about is this man. I don't know why. His head is where it is. I thought maybe we turned the corner after 2 to 3 decent games in a row. But today, he was a liability. He was bullied and owned by Mateta. And I don't say that lightly. Mateta ran him inside out. Canade was flapped. He was all over the place. He was giving away needless fouls. He was giving away possession. He was off it in so many areas. It was unacceptable. And the fact that we can't really hold him to account by dropping him because we don't have the options, that speaks for itself. But this man needs to pull his socks up, or we need to find a solution, because that is not acceptable. Today, he gets a 3 from me and a 3.3 from the audience. Next up, Conor Bradley. Again, not great, not good enough. A little bit better defensively than Frimpong, but not really much good to us today going forward. Again, I call it like I see it. I like Conor Bradley. I do think he's got a good future ahead of him. But right now, right back is a problem for us, and it doesn't seem to matter which one of our natural right backs we use. We're lacking in something. So today, for Connor, I'm giving him a score of 5. And the audience have gone lower than that with a score today, an average score of 4.2. Moving into midfield now, and Gravenberch. And look, I'd like to ask you guys a question I posed with Connor on the podcast, which, by the way, will be out tonight at 10:40. We know what we get from Ryan Gravenberch, which is a press-resistant player who's good at spotting a pass, who's good at breaking lines. But do we miss the combative nature, perhaps, of a Fabinho, somebody like a Rodri there in front of that defence? Is he part of the reason why we aren't defending as well as we could? It feels weird saying that because I'm a big fan of Ryan and there's so many great attributes that he has, and he is important in our midfield. It's more a question rather than an accusation. Love to know your thoughts on it. But getting back to today, you know the way I say to you guys every week, there is one player and one performance that I do struggle to grade. It's probably Ryan this week. So what I've done is I've given him a score of 6. But I do know and want to know your feedback on this in the comments. The audience have gone for an average score there for Ryan of 5.4. Next up, Maka. There's a player every year that feels like they're chasing their tail and playing catch up, whether it's fitness or form or a mixture of both. And it feels like Alexis is that player. Obviously, been a big week from welcoming the birth of the baby daughter with himself and his wife, and congratulations to that again. But I thought he was getting into the game when he was taken off. He didn't start it great, but I felt as it went on, he was getting a bit better. And I think there's an argument that he could have stayed on the pitch today. Sometimes it feels like the manager has in his head, players can't play 90. And once that thought's in his head, it's very difficult to displace it, like we've seen with, well, Ekatike as an example, Wirtz and others. So for Maka today, I'm going to give him a score of 5. The audience have gone for a 4.6. But I want to know your thoughts, because as I said, I thought he was getting into that game today as he was taken off, and I think he could have argued for a different change. Dominic Szoboszlai. It's worrying that our best right back isn't the right back. And even again today, he proved it once again. When he went into right back, we looked better. He played the position better on either of our natural right backs. But you're losing something not having him further forward. He always tries to make stuff happen, gets into some great positions. The one gripe I had with him today was when he did get into the 18-yard box, he should have pulled the trigger on a shot that he tried to play across the front of goal again, which I don't understand. So for Dom, I thought he put in a good shift. As I said, he's our best right back at the club and he isn't a right back, so that's a concern. But he has been one of the few players this year that I think can hold his head high. I'm giving him a score of 7 today, and the audience have gone lower with a 5.8. Next up, Florian Wirtz. It's a tough one, this. There's no denying he hasn't settled into the pace of the league. There's no denying he isn't playing at his best. The manager has tried him as a 10. He tried him on the left today. I think it's probably gotten to the point for him and for everyone now that the midfield needs to be the older midfield of Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and we reintroduce flow bit by bit. Maybe when teams are tiring, maybe when he has that extra yard or space to operate in. That's the only thing I can think of right now, because I've no doubts about his calibre, I've no doubts about his quality, but for whatever reason, whether it be settling into the league, we aren't seeing it yet. So I think going forward, time from the bench is probably the best way to get him up to the speed. Today, I'm giving him a score of 5, and the audience have gone lower again with a score of 4.3. Salah, I'm going to say it bluntly, he can't be undroppable and he can't be unsubstitutable because he isn't cutting it. And like, we're not talking about the levels of years gone by, because players will always drop off a bit. But I'm really struggling to see the positives of starting him week in and week out at this point, other than reputation, because the performances aren't there. Not saying he's finished, not saying his legs are done, but I'm saying it's a damn conversation now about whether Chiesa starts over him. And it can't just be an automatic, well, Salah's the guy. No, I'm sorry. You play the hot hand. Chiesa is looking sharper, wants it more, and is looking better. That's no hate. That's me calling it as I see it. I love this man. He is an icon at our club, but he should not be undroppable. And yet again today, nowhere near good enough. So for me, I've given him a 5.5. And the audience think I've been way too kind there, as you can see, going a full 2.2 points lower than me, with a score of 3.3. But I have to say, Arna needs to grow a pair now and make these tough decisions. He cannot be undroppable and he can't keep finishing games with just the hope that he has a moment. Next up, Isak. Tough one as he's still building up fitness and he's still building up a relationship. I would say the manager probably played him a bit longer than he wanted to today, but he also should have had a goal. He worked his way into the penalty area really well, slalom and run in, 6-yard box. He was stumbling and off balance, but a sharp Isak probably finishes that. It is interesting to see the two different styles of centre forwards, and it's up to the team now to understand the movements and get to grips with both of them. But I've no concerns about Isak moving forward. This is just him settling into the team. So I today have given him a score of 6, and the audience have gone with a 5.0. Next up, Gakpo. Look, we asked for Arne to look for a different option on the left. He did today with Wirtz, and it didn't really work out. Gakpo came on, and look, I don't think he was bad. I don't think he was great. I think it was the same as we've seen Gakpo a lot of the season, cutting inside a lot, trying a couple of shots, trying to put in a few crosses, but ultimately still not what we hope for on that left side. And whether it's a lack of real competition because Diaz isn't there and Rio's young in his career, I'm not sure, but I still want better from Cody Gakpo today. 5.5 from me from what we've seen off the bench, and a 5 from the audience. Curtis Jones. Curtis comes in for a lot of flack from a lot of people, but I have to say again today when he came on, I thought that he showed courage and he wanted the ball. And he's not afraid to try to make stuff happen. You know, we can talk about how many accurate passes we play, but ultimately Crystal Palace today had about a 67%, 68% passing accuracy. And the reason for that is because they took chances. They tried to make stuff happen. Curtis Jones tries to do that on the ball, and sometimes he takes too much out of it, but at least he's forward thinking and trying to make stuff happen. I liked what I'd seen today from the bench, so I gave him a 6.5. The 4.7 that the audience have given him, I don't understand or agree with. I respect everyone sees games differently, but I really do think he tried to spark something when he came on. He's lively, he's full of energy, and he gave us something different. Fede. Now this man, you know what I'm going to say. I don't even probably need to say anything. I just push the button and give him the number. But I want to make a point. Arne said something, and I'm going to read it out to you because it wound me up. After the Southampton game, he said this on Chiesa. If we didn't do as well as he did against Southampton, we would probably not look at him as getting more playing time. But he did so well that it normally leads to a bit more playing time. If he can keep producing in training sessions in the moments we bring him in. He almost sounded reluctant that he had to give him game time. Let me be clear about this. That man should be starting soon. That man has shown everything us Liverpool fans want. Fight, desire, great attitude, and a willingness to get stuck in. So Arne, play him. Give him his chance. He's earned it. He deserves it. Once again today, he came up with a big moment. Stop playing players on reputation. Play players on their ability right now. For me, I think he's been brilliant again. So today, I give him an 8. He would have gotten more, only for he was only on the pitch, obviously, as a substitute. But he still had a moment, and he still almost scored 2 for us. 1 just the wrong side of the post, and 1 he did score. Next up, Frimpong. I don't know what to say. It wasn't like it was just bad from Jeremy. It was all kinds of bad. You know, small things like not being able to just look down at the ball at his feet and getting it stuck between his feet and going out for a throw, being out of position, giving the ball away, just nothing. He was a hindrance when he came on and not an addition. And like I said, I take no pleasure in saying that our best right back isn't a right back, but that's where we're currently at, and there's no point in hiding away from it. Frimpong is better than we've seen. We know what he's capable of. We need to start seeing it. So today, I'm giving him a 4. And the audience have gone a little bit higher with a score there of 4.5. Rio Ngamoa, it was a tough one again. He came on. You know, he tried to force a few things to happen. It didn't really come off for him, but again, he's developing. I thought it was mid when he came on. You know, nothing spectacular, nothing silly. I'm giving him an average of 5, which is the same as the audience. And to finish up, our manager, who I have to say needs to shoulder the responsibility for today. You don't rest players during the week, give them a week off and accept that level of performance. Don't talk about Palace playing with a low block when it was nonsense. Palace got the ball, counter-attacked, got the ball and drove at us. They were direct, they tried, they wanted to win that game. Saying they played with a low block and using that as an excuse is just that, an excuse. We were given the tools, he was given the tools and the backing to find the reason to unpick a low block. So even if it was a low block, which I don't think it was, he was given the money to bring in players to unpick that, and they didn't. So this one on the manager, I'm afraid, not happy with, and he needs to start playing players on reputation and play what he's seen in front of him, because if not, it's going to end up in him being in trouble, the club going in the wrong direction, and he needs to stand up and be counted. So for Arna today, he gets a 5, probably a generous 5 from me, and the audience have gone, as you can see, a lot lower with a 3.8. So that is the player ratings video, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back tonight at 9 p.m. for the Late Night Agenda. The podcast will be out at 10:40 p.m. and I appreciate all of your support. Don't forget again to go over and check out our giveaway at Anfield Agenda on Instagram. You'll see all the details there, and thank you once again to our friends at the Collector's Corner. I'll see you tonight. Much love.